paparazzi took some unflattering, candid photos of Sydney Sweeney in her backyard in Florida, and the internet just caught on fire after these photos came out. It was immediately a debate about whether Sydney Sweeney is a catfish. And these are obviously unposed photos. This is what she looks like when she, isn't airbrushed. She's not wearing makeup. She is not being professionally styled and prepared for photos and videos. So this is the real Sydney Sweeney, and I don't think the world was prepared for it. Mm-hmm. So here is the New York Post headline: Sydney Sweeney shows off bikini body lounging outside $13 million Florida Keys mansion. As you can see in the photos, the paparazzi were actually hiding in bushes in her backyard because they have to go hundreds, if not thousands of feet away. If people are
wondering who that is, I see some people in the chat wondering who it is. This is her. This is Sydney Sweeney. She's a very big actress now. She's very, very popular.
Nobody knows who Sydney Sweeney is still?
People in the chat were asking. I'm just saying she's an internet darling now because a lot of people believe that her and her titties brought the end of woke.
We can show the side by side maybe. So this person said, "This should be illegal. This is what causes misogyny." That was the caption.
Meaning that...
So there's Sydney Sweeney posed in a red gown with her hair done, her makeup done, airbrush, spray tan, false eyelashes, the works. And then in the more recent photos, she is just chilling in her backyard without makeup on.
It's all fair.
Not thinking too hard about what she looks like.
To point out that she's doing a movie about a female professional boxer and bulked up significantly for the role, which people keep forgetting to point out.
Yeah, well, you might notice that Sydney Sweeney looks a little more muscled and she looks like she's been in bulking season. Yeah. She has a lot of muscle going on that she didn't used to have. She's preparing to play Christy Martin, a female boxer, in her upcoming movie, and she's actually taken the backlash that she's received for her appearance in order to promote that movie.
I don't see any issue with any of this. She looks perfectly fine in both photos.
I think that people are definitely overstating how terrible she looks, for sure, but she should not give it any airtime. She should not be taking screenshots of these comments.
That was her mistake.
Giving it so much attention to seem unbothered and to clap back at people. It just adds fuel to the fire. So she posted on Instagram a montage of a bunch of these rude comments about her appearance.
Here, I'm playing it now.
Who are body shaming her and calling her ugly. And then in response, she shows all of these videos of her working out and boxing for her role that's coming up to show everyone that, she's unbothered and she is kind of explaining herself in a way. I mean, this is the problem, right? She's using this as an opportunity to clap back, right? But it's really just because you wanted to explain why you look different so that people don't overreact, right?
Yeah, that's fine if you don't want to use the line, I don't care, because you do care.
She cares.
If you respond, you care.
Yeah, and she would be better off not caring. She would be better off not reading these comments. I hope that she didn't go through individually screenshotting
my guess is somebody else edited that.
I really hope so.
Actually, I'm kind of laughing at the idea of picturing her, actually what she's doing is out in that exact photo of her by the pool, not even getting to enjoy the pool because she's too busy making a montage.
So, well, here were some of the responses that came after these unflattering photos of Sydney Sweeney were published. One said she knocked up, stung by a nest of wasps, dove into a swimming pool full of donuts and chips. Good grief, man. Another said, without artifice, makeup, filter, and Photoshop, she is really ugly. Another one said, all women are catfishes. The question is to what degree? Another one said, no way, she's getting chubby. Who would hit that? I didn't know she was a proud member of the FUPA community. She's low-key falling off. So there was a barrage of comments like this, basically declaring that Sydney Sweeney is no longer the darling of a simp army. They have turned against her and decided that Sydney Sweeney is mid.
And here's my problem, is that the reason that she was elected the head of this movement had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with the fact that they felt as if she was unabashedly showing you and the audience her femininity and not apologizing for it, which she is still doing. So sure, you can make judgment on what you think she looks like now. I think it's stupid because I think she looks perfectly normal in both photos, but she is not walking back her attitude towards displaying her femininity, which is how everybody elected her as this weird sort of messenger of the modern day rebirth of like, we are so back, was like because she wasn't apologizing for being a woman and being beautiful, which is what so much of what Hollywood is.
Well, from your male perspective, do you think the men who are commenting these things about her appearance are being genuine in their disgust, or is it performative?
Oh gosh, like I loathe. I'd have to go look through each one of those people's profiles and let you know based on
ostensibly
a response. Probably a mix of both. There's probably a mix. I know I see a lot of people talking about porn brain and whether it is something like that. I did see a funny response from like an actual porn star who says, I have a face like a wrinkled blanket or something like that. And I'm like pointing out is like there are all sorts of body types in porn that do very, very well. So they don't actually buy that is the argument. But the idea is that maybe it's not porn brain as much as it is you only see the filtered photos. That's not porn. That's just looking at very, very edited photos of someone. And it's kind of like what I was trying to describe the other day. And this is follow my logic here, right? Which is that like if you look at your phone and your phone says that it's snowing out and you never actually go look outside, you're just going to assume it's bad because you sit and look at a little graphic on your phone that says it's snowing out for hours without actually going and looking what it's like outside. If all you look at is a facsimile of what a woman looks like via a photo that has been heavily retouched, filtered, that is very different from seeing a woman in real life. And maybe a certain percentage of that argument is people who just don't look at a lot of women in the real world. But at the same time, that feels like a bit of a straw man too, because I'm sure that there are more than enough people of all sorts complaining about this for different reasons. I think it's stupid either way.
Some of them might be so isolated from the world that they don't know what a real woman looks like. I have no idea. But another theory that was going around is that these men were pretending to find Sydney Sweeney unattractive.
Yeah. So
that women observing on the sidelines would get anxious about how attractive they might be or not be.
So is everyone
the women would be thinking like, oh, like if Sydney Sweeney is ugly, then what am I? And then I guess the response would be like, I should lower my standards. I don't like for the type of men that I date. I don't know exactly what the goal is, but they're saying these men are pretending to find Sydney Sweeney unattractive all of a sudden because they're trying to humble all of the women who are objectively less attractive.
That is like a Xanatos gambit. Excuse
me? That is what did you just call me?
That is like attributing a certain level of like omniscience and forethought to this that I don't buy.
Like there's some kind of meta dialogue between all men and all women, and this is how it's playing out. It doesn't really make sense to me.
If you guys want to know what a Xanatos Gambit is a plan for all foreseeable outcomes benefit the creator. You know, the evil guy who's thought of everything. Am I supposed to believe that there's like an evil group of incels who are like, I'm going to start fake being angry so that you might have a response that might benefit me or my cause? I don't buy that.
Unless a lot of these responses are purchased responses by bot accounts that were coordinated by one individual or some group of individuals, then I won't believe it. But I think that a lot of the women observing this phenomenon are... They kind of see this as the natural consequence for Sydney Sweeney, because they see like, oh, there's just no way you can win. You will either not cater to the male gaze and you will receive hate for that, Or you can cater to the male gaze, and you will also receive hate when you don't measure up to that standard. So they see this as kind of the natural consequence of Sydney Sweeney courting that type of male attention consistently and courting a male dominant fan base.
I mean, the same problem would happen if she did toe the line. Then if she ever dared cross the line going the other way, like if she was a good feminist and didn't court the male gaze, then if she makes one movie that even slightly falls out of line, you'll get judged by them too.
Falls out of line meaning just like what?
All I'm saying is that it doesn't matter which way you go. There are consequences when you do something that goes against those that like you. In this case, it's her looks.
So it's kind of a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, the industry is a lose-lose situation. You're not designed. I'm not designed. Nobody is designed to know what everybody thinks of you at any given time, especially people who don't know you and have no reason to actually show any humility towards you or your choices. So it is the prerogative of everybody who chooses to enter into Hollywood and find any level of fame that they're willing to make that choice. I want to make a lot of money. I want the name recognition. Well, you don't get to have that. You don't get to have the money. You don't get to have the status. You don't get to have the brand deals. I think she had like a recent, like she had like an arm. What was it? Her most recent thing that she put out, for some couture brand. Like, look, you don't get to have all that and none of the pushback. It's going to happen.
I know for a fact I would not want to be in Sydney Sweeney's position right now.
I
don't find it enviable.
I wouldn't want that level of fame.
I mean,
I wouldn't want to be famous.
Posturing oneself as a sex symbol is a dangerous gamble because
for more reasons than just
just what?
For what reason?
Well, because it could either backfire on you when you naturally age out of being hot, or it could backfire on you even sooner than that. She is 26 years old. Yeah. Obviously, she has not naturally aged out of being hot yet. So there's something else here. She hasn't even measured up to being Sydney Sweeney. Not even Sydney Sweeney can be Sydney Sweeney, and that's kind of scary. I wouldn't want to be her right now. Yeah. That seems like an impossible situation.
If I was to Monday Morning Quarterback, I would have said don't respond at all.
She definitely shouldn't have responded.
But,
But also, how is she supposed to prevent an avalanche of hate like this from even happening in the first place? You can't.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. You once you make that choice.
Because there's this weird love-hate relationship that simps have with the object of their desire.
And that's parasocial, and it gets weird.
They hate Sydney Sweeney because they want Sydney Sweeney and can't have her, which is really coming from a dark place. Yeah. So you can never win someone like that over.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
And they'll never see you as a full person anyway.
But she chose that because she wanted this career, and to her credit, for whatever she's done as far as utilizing her looks, she does seem to be very interested in the actual art of filmmaking. Even if I don't think she's a very good actress, I think that she's got the right attitude.
She's got the spirit.
She's got the spirit, and she's got the right attitude. And maybe I just haven't seen her in the right role. But in the movies that I've seen her in, she hasn't exactly been the greatest actress. But that never bothered me because the movies she was in, what was it? Anyone But You was like, look, that wasn't for me, and I never expected it to be for me. But in Spider-Man, in Madam Web, I didn't care. I didn't care.
Well, this is a controversial take, but it's unavoidable. Sydney Sweeney chose to show basically her entire naked body to the world, and she chose to simulate sex on camera. It's not all that materially different from being a porn star, and when you do that, unfortunately, people, most especially male viewers, are not going to see you as a full person anymore.
I mean, I don't think that matters even. I think the sex stuff is immaterial. I think in this day and age, any level of fame that requires you to view someone through social media will never see you as a full person, regardless of what you've done on camera.
Okay, fair enough, but you can mitigate that perception. You can. having
Meaning like you think it's worse.
Having
because of
sex on camera definitely makes people disregard your humanity more than just having a social media presence. I know that for a fact. And, you know, this is what comes with the territory. You pretended to have sex on camera for a TV show and like,
I don't think
that's all people think you're good for now.
I would argue that I think that most of the celebrities, women probably more than men, probably feel that way even if they haven't done those types of roles, just because you can't get past the fact that people only see you through the barrier of what is seen on social media and interviews and the roles that you take. And perhaps it's worse for those that have done those types of scenes, but these days I would bet that most of them would probably rate their own experience as the same as Sydney Sweeney's, even if they hadn't done those types of roles. Most of the women.
Maybe.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.